Hello everyone. As we'll be talking about research in the coming lectures, so I just want to tell you that when we talk about research, it is a very fascinating world to be explored. It is, of course, the path to create what is not known. So, I'll be telling you why research is important, and of course, to complete a PhD, you need to do a research in a particular or a topic of your interest, which lets you discover new areas and add knowledge. So, talking about research, research is a original contribution to the existing stock of knowledge. Today, I'll just be talking about hypothesis. In research, hypothesis is a very important topic that you should know. Talking about hypothesis, if anybody asks what a hypothesis is, it is just a simple thing, that is, it is a statement. It is a tentative statement. Tentative meaning it is just an assumption, it is just a guess. Okay, so it is a statement. Like, for example, if we say timetable helps students to be organized, so this is just a statement that is my assumption. So I want now to test this statement, that is timetable helps the students to be organized. So now after that, if you see the line, it is just a mere assumption. It can be proved or it can be disapproved. So by continuing my research, I'll be able to know that the assumption, it can be proved or it can be disapproved. So it is tested just by collecting the information and to know if our hypothesis what we have want to test, it is right or wrong. So that is hypothesis. If we continue, next is what is the importance of hypothesis, why we want to why we create or we talk about hypothesis. It is because it plays an important role in research process. It is just the basis of scientific investigation. The important things that we talk about under hypothesis are null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. There are other hypotheses also, but today we'll just be talking about null and alternative hypothesis. So talking about null hypothesis is also known as statistical hypothesis. That is the other name for null hypothesis. Null hypothesis, it is denoted by H0. So if you see H0, it is null hypothesis. If null hypothesis is rejected, what will be accepted? Of course, you will say that alternate hypothesis will be accepted. So that's easy. Okay, so if talking about null hypothesis, what is null hypothesis? It just means that whatever we want to test, there is the two variables are there. Whatever we want to test, two or more variables, there is no difference between them or there is no change between the variables, that means it is null hypothesis. Example that I have given is, if we compare men and women compared to their intelligence, if the woman is more intelligent than men and the opposite, so when we test it, the null hypothesis will say that women and men are same in, if we talk about intelligence, there is no difference between the intelligence of both men and women. And the other example, if I'm telling you, that is, there is no relationship between smoking and incidence of incidence of coronary artery disease. So the null hypothesis will just say there is no relationship between the smoking and incidence of coronary artery disease. Talking about alternate hypothesis is also known as a research hypothesis. Here I have written alternative 2 times, but you should know that alternative hypothesis, if it comes as a question, it can also come as research hypothesis. So it is denoted as HA or H1. So it will just be opposite of the null hypothesis. And a note here, this is a very important note that comes as a 1 marker, or they can ask you in vivas that which is tested, null hypothesis is tested or alternate hypothesis is tested. So you should know that it is only the null hypothesis that can be tested. So if there is a line that is the null hypothesis, we have accepted the null hypothesis, then we'll have to reject the alternate hypothesis, and same goes in the opposite direction. So the note here is that it is only the null hypothesis that can be tested. Thank you.